The most dangerous moment in your life isn't when someone screams at you and breaks your heart in public. It's when you sit alone in a quiet room and realize nobody actually knows you. Not your friends, not your family, not the person sleeping next to you. Why does the loneliest feeling in the world happen when you're surrounded by people who love you? If you've ever smiled through a dinner while something inside you was quietly dying, tap that subscribe button and let me explain why the tears you cry alone are telling you a story your mind has been too scared to hear. You know the feeling. It's a Tuesday night. Nothing big happened today. You went to work, you answered the messages, you laughed at the right times, you made dinner, you watched something on your phone, and now you're in bed. The lights are off, the house is still, and out of nowhere, your chest gets tight. You don't even understand what's wrong. There's no fight to point to, no tragedy, no clear reason. Just this heavy, quiet ache that crawls up your throat. And before you can stop it, the tears start. Slow at first, then heavier, then the kind that shake your whole body. You press your face into the pillow. You hold your breath. You try not to make a sound. Because somewhere along the way, you learned that crying is something you do in private, like a secret, like a shame, like a part of yourself you owe nobody. You wonder if anyone would notice if you didn't wake up tomorrow. You wonder when you became this person, the one who handles everything, the one who never falls apart in front of anyone, the one who has friends but doesn't have witnesses. And the worst part is, you can't even remember when the loneliness started. You just know it's been a long time, longer than you want to admit. And tonight, your body said enough. So here you are, crying in the dark, alone, again, wondering why the tears feel so old, like they've been waiting in your chest for years. Carl Jung once said that loneliness doesn't come from having no people around you. It comes from being unable to share the things that feel important to you. And that's exactly what's happening. You have people. You just don't have permission to be fully yourself with any of them. Has this ever happened to you? Drop a yes in the comments and subscribe to join thousands of people who are finally waking up to what their silent tears actually mean. Here's the truth nobody told you. People who cry alone are not weak. They are people who learned way too early that their feelings were a problem. Maybe your parents called you sensitive like it was a flaw. Maybe a teacher told you to toughen up. Maybe a partner sighed when you tried to share your pain. Maybe a friend changed the subject every time you got real. So you learned. You learned that big feelings make people uncomfortable. You learned that tears push people away. You learned that the safest way to keep love is to be easy. Be light. Be fun. Be low maintenance. Be the friend who listens but never asks for the same in return. And you got really good at it. Scary good. You can walk into any room and read it in seconds. You know who needs what. You know how to soften your voice. You know how to make people feel safe. But nobody ever taught you how to be safe with yourself. So you became the host of every gathering and the ghost of your own life. Think about your last week. How many times did someone ask how you were? Now think, how many times did you tell the truth? Not the polite truth, the real one. The one where you say, I'm not okay, and I haven't been for a while. You can probably count those moments on no fingers at all. That's not because you don't trust people. It's because you've been trained to believe your truth is too heavy. So you carry it alone. You walk around with a whole inner world nobody gets to see. And it gets bigger every year. The unsaid things, the unfelt feelings, the unspoken truths. They pile up inside you like an attic nobody cleans. And then one quiet night, the attic spills open, and the crying starts. Not because anything new happened, but because the old stuff finally got too heavy to hold. Are you tired of being the strong one when nobody knows you're tired? Subscribe and hit the bell if you want more truths like this, because what I'm about to share next will finally give a name to something you've been feeling for years.
Psychology calls this hyper-independence. It's when you stop reaching out for help, not because you don't need it, but because somewhere deep inside, you stopped believing it would come. You learned to be your own everything, your own mother, your own father, your own therapist, your own best friend, your own emergency contact. And on the outside, it looks beautiful. People praise you for it. They call you strong. They call you mature. They say things like, "I wish I had it together like you."
They tell you you're the reliable one, the dependable one, the one they can always count on. But nobody ever asks if you can count on them. And nobody ever notices that you never ask either. Because asking feels dangerous. Asking feels like exposing the soft part of you that already got hurt. So you keep the armor on. You keep the smile up. You keep the boundaries so high that nobody can climb them. Not even the good ones. Not even the ones who would have stayed. Imagine carrying a backpack full of stones since you were a kid. At first, it was light. You barely noticed. Then more stones got added. Mean words from a parent, a friend who left without warning, a breakup that nobody let you grieve, a loss you had to be strong through, a betrayal you had to forgive too quickly. The stones kept piling on, and you kept walking. Because what other choice did you have? You couldn't put the backpack down. Nobody offered to carry it. So you adapted. You got stronger shoulders, tougher legs, A harder back. And now you're an adult who can carry mountains without flinching. But your soul is exhausted in a way sleep can't fix. That's why you cry alone. That backpack doesn't disappear when you go to bed. It just gets heavier when the world finally goes quiet enough for you to feel it. Does this sound like someone you know? Share this video with them and subscribe for more, because the next part is the one that will finally start cracking the armor open. Here's what nobody explains. When you cry alone every single time, your nervous system starts to believe a story. A story that says, "I am alone in this world." A story that says, "My pain is mine to handle." A story that says, "Nobody is coming." And once your nervous system believes that, it organizes your entire life around it. You stop opening up. You stop being vulnerable. You start expecting people to disappoint you before they even try. You read every silence as rejection. You read every late reply as proof that you don't matter. You build a quiet case against humanity in your own head. And every time someone fails you, you whisper to yourself, "I knew it." But here's the dangerous part. You also start failing yourself. Because when you don't trust anyone with your tears, you also stop trusting yourself with your needs. You override your own hunger, your own tiredness, your own boundaries. You push past the part of you that's screaming for rest. You silence the part of you that wants love. You bully yourself into being functional. And functional is not the same as alive. You can be functional and dead inside at the same time. You can pay your bills and lose your soul in the same week. You can be the most put-together person in the room and have a whole graveyard of unmet needs inside your chest. That's the cost of crying alone forever. Not the tears. The tears are clean. The tears are honest. The cost is what you start to believe about yourself in the quiet. That you're too much. That you're too sensitive. That something is wrong with you for feeling this deeply. Those lies stick, and they shape every choice you make. Do you recognize this pattern in your own life? Subscribe now and tell me your story below, because what I'm about to say next is the part most people never hear in their lifetime. Carl Jung talked about something called the wounded child, the part of you that got hurt before you had the words for it, before you understood what was happening, before anyone explained it. That child didn't go anywhere. That child still lives inside you. And that child is the one crying when the lights go out. It's not your adult self breaking down. It's the 7-year-old who needed a hug and didn't get one. It's the 12-year-old who hid in their room while the house was loud. It's the 16-year-old who learned to journal instead of speak. It's the 20-year-old who got their heart broken and told everyone they were fine the next day. All of those versions of you are still in there, waiting. And every time you ignore them, the ache gets louder. Because they were never asking for a fix. They were just asking to be seen, to be heard, to be held, to be told you didn't deserve that. It wasn't your fault. You're safe now. And here's the gift hidden inside all that pain. You can be the one who finally tells them. You don't need a perfect parent. You don't need an amazing partner. You don't need a therapist who magically reads your mind. You need you, the grown version of you, the one who survived, the one who is still here despite everything. That version of you can walk into the dark rooms inside your own heart and say, I see you. I'm not leaving. We're going to be okay. And something miraculous happens. The crying changes. It stops feeling like drowning. It starts feeling like healing. The tears go from being your enemy to being your medicine. This is what shadow work really is. It's not scary. It's not mystical. It's just the simple, brave act of meeting yourself in the places you've been avoiding. The lonely places, the angry places, the ashamed places. The places where the wounded child still lives. You go there. You stay there. You love what you find. Is this why you've been feeling exhausted even when your life looks fine on paper? Subscribe and let me know in the comments because we're getting to the part that gives you back your power for good. Here's something nobody told you. There's a difference between being alone and being lonely. Alone is a fact. Lonely is a feeling. You can be alone and feel completely full. You can be in a crowd and feel completely empty. The loneliness you carry isn't about how many people are around you. It's about how many of them actually know you. And the truth is, most of them don't. Not because they don't care, but because you never let them. You curated a version of yourself for every relationship. The funny version for your friends, the competent version for your coworkers, the grateful version for your family, the easy version for your partner. And the real version? You keep her in the dark. You keep him in the silence. You only let yourself meet your real self at night when nobody can see. But here's the dangerous truth. The real you is the only you worth knowing. The performance is exhausting. The masks are heavy. The roles are eating you alive. And the people who only know the curated you, they don't actually love you. They love the version of you that's easy to digest. And that version is not you. You feel lonely because you've been hiding for so long that even you forgot where you went. You feel exhausted because pretending takes more energy than living. You cry alone because the only place you're allowed to be real is in a room with no witnesses. And that has to change. Not all at once, not in some big dramatic confession, just slowly. One person, one truth, one moment of honesty. The next time someone asks how you are, take a breath. And instead of saying fine, try saying, honestly, it's been a hard week. Just that. Just one sentence. Watch what happens. Most of the time, the person on the other side will surprise you. Their face will soften. Their voice will get gentle. They'll say, me too. Or, tell me more. Or, I'm so sorry. What's going on? And in that moment, a small miracle happens. The wall you've been building for decades cracks, and light gets in. Have you been pretending everything is fine when it's actually been falling apart in private? Subscribe and drop your experience below, because what comes next is the part that changes everything. Here's the shift. You stop seeing your tears as a problem. You start seeing them as a teacher. Every time the crying comes, you ask it questions. What are you trying to tell me? What have I been ignoring? What need have I been pushing down? What truth am I scared to face?
And the tears answer. They always answer. They never lie. Sometimes the answer is, I'm exhausted and I need to rest. Sometimes it's, I'm lonely and I need to reach out. Sometimes it's, I'm in a relationship that's hurting me and I'm scared to leave. Sometimes it's, I miss someone who is gone. Sometimes it's, I'm grieving a version of myself that died a long time ago. The answers are always there. You just have to stop trying to silence the messenger. This is the part where your power comes back. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly. You start moving differently. You start saying no when you used to say yes. You start leaving the room when the conversation hurts you. You start choosing rest over performance. You start protecting your peace like it's the most precious thing you own. Because it is. You stop apologizing for being human.
You stop explaining yourself to people who only want to debate you. You stop shrinking your voice to fit inside small rooms. You stop dating people who can only love you when you're convenient. You stop calling people back who only call you when they need something. You become unavailable to the dynamics that drained you. And it feels uncomfortable at first, really uncomfortable, because being honest about your needs is a muscle you never got to develop. You will feel guilty. You will feel selfish. You will feel like a bad person for choosing yourself. But those feelings are not the truth. They are the leftover voices of every person who taught you to disappear. The longer you sit with the discomfort, the more it transforms. The guilt becomes peace. The selfishness becomes self-respect. The fear becomes freedom. And one day, you wake up and realize something has shifted. The crying alone hasn't disappeared, but it has changed. It's not desperate anymore. It's just honest. It's just human. It's just you taking care of you. Did that hit home for you? Let me know in the comments and subscribe so you don't miss part 2, because the last section of this video is the truth that took me years to learn the hard way. Let me tell you something about the people who cry alone. They are the ones who feel the world the deepest. They are the artists, the healers, the poets, the ones who notice the small things, the ones who remember birthdays, the ones who text you to check in, the ones who hold the room together without anyone realizing. You are not too much. You never were. The world told you that you were because the world couldn't keep up with you. Your feelings were never the problem. The problem was being surrounded by people who didn't know how to receive them. And you internalized their inability as your flaw. That stops now. Your sensitivity is not a curse. It's a superpower. It's the reason you can read a room in 3 seconds. It's the reason you can tell when someone is lying. It's the reason you can sense pain in people who haven't said a word. It's the reason you've survived things that should have destroyed you. Because you feel everything, you understand everything. And understanding is the rarest currency in this world. But here is the dangerous truth. You cannot keep using that superpower for everyone else and saving none of it for yourself. You cannot keep being the emotional first responder in every room you enter while your own emergencies go unanswered. You have to start treating yourself like you are worth saving. Because you are. You always were. That means letting people in. The right people. Not all the people. Not the ones who proved they couldn't hold you. Not the ones who turned your softness into a joke. Not the ones who only show up for the laughing version of you. The right ones. The ones who lean in when you crack. The ones who don't flinch when you cry. The ones who can sit with your silence without trying to fix it. Those people exist. I promise you they do. They might be 1. They might be 2. They will never be many. But they are enough. One real witness is worth more than 1,000 polite acquaintances. One person who knows the real you is worth more than a whole social media full of strangers cheering for your highlight reel.
And if you don't have that person yet, you can still start with yourself. You can become the witness you've been waiting for. You can put your hand on your own heart at the end of a long day and whisper, "I'm proud of you. You made it. You're doing better than you think. You can be the love you never received." And from that place, the right people will start to find you because you stop chasing. You start receiving. Have you ever realized you've been giving everyone the love you needed for yourself?
Subscribe and tell me below, because the final part of this story is the one I want you to carry with you. There's a moment that's coming for you. Maybe it already came. Maybe it's coming tonight. The moment when you finally stop fighting it. You stop trying to be okay. You stop pretending you have it figured out. You stop performing strength for an audience that isn't even watching. You just let yourself feel everything you've been running from. It will hurt. It will hurt in a way that feels like dying. Because that's what it is. The version of you that survived by hiding is dying. And something new is being born in her place. Something honest, something whole, something untouchable. A version of you that doesn't need to be loud to be heard. A version of you that doesn't need permission to take up space. That new version of you is sovereign. Do you know what sovereign means? It means you answer to no one but yourself. It means your worth is not up for debate. It means your boundaries are not negotiable. It means your feelings are not too much, your softness is not weakness, and your tears are not a flaw. They are the proof that you are alive in a world that wanted you numb. And the wild thing is, you've been sovereign all along. You just forgot. Somewhere between the disappointments and the heartbreaks and the people who didn't choose you, you forgot that you came into this world whole. You forgot that nothing anyone did to you actually made you less. You forgot that the throne inside you never moved. You just stopped sitting on it. It's time to sit back down. It's time to come home to yourself. It's time to stop apologizing for the person you are when nobody is watching. Because that person, the one who cries in the dark, the one who feels too much, the one who carries the world quietly, that person is the most powerful version of you. And the world has been waiting for her to wake up. You don't need to scream to be heard anymore. You don't need to perform to be loved. You don't need to bleed to prove your worth. You just need to be, to breathe, to feel, to live without filters, and to let the right people meet the real you. That is the work of a lifetime. And tonight, in this small, quiet moment, you can begin. So the next time the tears come without warning, don't run, don't hide, don't shame yourself. Sit with them, listen to them, thank them. Because every tear that falls is a sentence in the story of your healing. And every story of healing is a small revolution against everything that tried to break you. You are not broken. You are becoming. There's a difference. And the difference is everything. You are not the person who cries alone because something is wrong with you. You are the person who cries alone because something inside you is finally getting honest. And honesty is the beginning of freedom. Freedom from the masks, freedom from the roles, freedom from the small life you were never meant to live. You were built for more. You always were. If this video made you feel something, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe for more videos that actually understand you.